Lily is 27 years old. She lives in a busy European city. She works at a small bookstore in the center. Every morning, Lily takes the same bus to work. She drinks a hot coffee and listens to music. She loves quiet mornings before the shop opens. One rainy Tuesday, Lily missed her usual bus. She stood at the bus stop holding her umbrella. The street was wet and cold, and she was a bit annoyed. Suddenly, a young man ran to the stop with a wet newspaper over his head. He was laughing and out of breath. "What a morning," he said, smiling. Lily smiled back. "Looks like we're both unlucky today," she said. The man nodded and stood next to her, still holding the wet paper. They talked while waiting for the next bus. His name was Alex, and he worked at an art gallery. He lived just a few blocks away. Lily told him about her bookstore job and her favorite novels. Alex smiled and said he loved old books too. They both laughed at the coincidence. The bus finally came. They sat together near the window. The ride was quiet, and they spoke in soft voices over the hum of the engine. At her stop, Lily stood up. "Maybe we'll miss the bus together again," she joked. Alex laughed and said, "I hope so." At work, Lily thought about Alex. She smiled to herself while putting books on shelves. She felt something small and happy growing inside. That night, she wrote in her journal, "I met someone interesting," she wrote. "Maybe something new is starting." The next morning, Lily waited at the same stop again. This time, she was early. She secretly hoped to see Alex again. Alex arrived holding 2 cups of coffee. "I thought you might be here," he said. Lily laughed. "You guessed right." They took the bus together. It rained again, tapping gently on the window. They talked about music and favorite childhood stories. Alex said, "Let's get lunch sometime." Lily smiled and nodded. Her heart beat faster, but it felt nice. They met for lunch that weekend. They sat in a small cafe near the river. The air smelled like rain and coffee. Lily told Alex about her childhood in the countryside. Alex shared stories about his travels. Time passed quickly. They started meeting often, sometimes in the morning at the stop, sometimes in the evening for coffee or walks. One day, Alex gave Lily a book. Inside was a note. "You made my mornings better." Lily smiled and said, "So did you." Months passed. Rainy mornings became their favorite. Lily never missed a bus again, and she never stood alone. One Sunday morning, they met at a local art fair. Alex showed her his favorite paintings. Lily smiled and asked many questions. They walked around the fair, sharing stories and laughing. Lily bought a small print with colorful flowers. Alex offered to carry it. After the fair, they sat on a bench by the river. The sun was warm, and birds sang nearby. They sat in silence for a while. Alex turned to Lily. "You make life softer," he said. Lily looked at him and said, "So do you." They both smiled quietly. From that day on, rainy mornings weren't just about coffee and books. They were about company, about laughter, about feeling seen.
If you enjoyed this story, please consider liking the video, leaving a thoughtful comment, and subscribing to the channel for more heartfelt narratives.